One of the worst football games I've ever watched in this stadium. And I've watched a lot of football games in this stadium. That was bad. That was one of the most misleading one-score games that you will ever see in your entire life. Texans never had a chance to win that game. There was no chance at winning that game. Davis Mills follows up his best performance of the season with his worst performance of the season. The defense, the front seven is what it is. That's as much of a personnel thing. But the Texans faced a quarterback who has no business starting an NFL game at this point. And the Tennessee Titans were able to hide Malik Willis because Davis Mills was inaccurate. The offensive line didn't block well. Jeffrey Simmons might be the best player in the AFC South if it's not Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry looks like a kid playing pee-wee football that's going to have to show his birth certificate. Absolute disaster today. Absolute just disgraceful performance by the Houston Texans. But if you're in the same camp I am and you think losing is better than winning, then this was fine. I keep hearing people say, well, they're tanking. They're trying to lose. They're trying to lose. Maybe so. They don't have to try. All they got to do is show up. All they got to do is show up. It's an attendance grade at this point. This team is going to find ways to lose games. They don't have the horses on defense. On offense, it's just an absolute disaster. Got to grade everyone on a curve. Davis Mills graded on a curve, F anyways. Pep Hamilton graded on a curve, F anyways. One of the goofiest flea flickers. You knew it was going to be one of those days offensively. You know how sometimes on offense you get stuff started and there's like a play early on where you kind of set the tone? That flea flicker to start the game, I don't know what the hell that was. But there were multiple play calls where it just looked completely lost. Dameon Pierce, he's really the only bright spot. He left it all out there. He got a touchdown at the end when they were kind of stat padding and mop up duty and whatever the hell you want to call it. Jeffrey Simmons might be the best player in the AFC South if it's not Derrick Henry. Mike Vrabel just continues to overachieve as Titans coach. I can't name one year where they didn't overachieve. Even last year when they were the 1 seed, they had no business being the 1 seed. That's the standard right there. That's where you want to get. Lovie Smith did a decent job containing Dameon Pierce, containing Malik Willis, although I don't know how much he had to do with it. Willis missed some throws, but other than that, it was just an ass-ugly game. Ugliest game that I've ever watched. Some of the worst offensive football you'll ever witness. And the front seven, I can't really be too critical because that's what we've come to expect. If you expect anything different from the front seven, then you're kind of fooling yourselves. But good news. Number 2 pick in the draft as we sit right now. Cleveland plays tomorrow. Maybe they'll lose and keep stuff going. You'll have 2 top 5 picks. And Detroit's still got some pretty easy wins. So all this team has to do is show up and they'll be able to keep losing games. That's the goodish, baddish news. Worst news, you got 10 more games of this. But we're all in this together. The coverage is going to continue. The YouTube channel is going to keep going. Subscribe. Biggest happening of the day, though, Brandin Cooks finally spoke. I got to talk to Brandin Cooks after the game. He was in the locker room. He said he's trying to keep all trade stuff internal. I said, okay, well, in the past, you've said you don't want to be traded. So that's not internal. I said, has that changed? He said, I'm not here to talk about that. So in saying nothing, he basically said something. In the past, he said he didn't want to trade. Now it's all internal. So you can read between the lines there. Question is, who really wants Brandin Cooks at this point? I know there was some stat padding at the end. There was some mop-up duty. He can still play a little bit. But can you trade that contract? That's a real question. But it's very clear that he wants to be traded. By saying nothing, he said something. And the Texans today, they said something. We stink at football. Post-game show coming up in probably an hour on the channel. So we'll get into that. We still got you covered with the Astros, but one of the worst football games. I want to get out of here. I almost feel like I need a shower after watching that crap.